Ladies, gentlemen, hello, welcome back. Apologies for the mic quality. I am currently in Thailand and I forgot my microphone in a different spot. I'm getting it back soon. Next video will have better audio quality. And also, the next video will be coming sooner than a month from this one, like the last one. I hope the Raja Bell mixtape held you guys over, but, you know, my bad for not uploading for like a month, but also there was nothing to talk about for that month, so like, I don't know what you really wanted from me, right? Yeah, we're gonna chat about the most lost NBA team, the one that is just directionless, the one that has, you know, looked the worst in preseason, not in terms of the worst on the court, but in terms of the direction they're heading. Because, you know, you can look at the Nets and be like, damn, they have a really bad team. But at least you know they're trying to capture the flag. You can look at the Pistons and be like, damn, they are really bad. But at least they got Cade. You can look at the Wizards and be like, damn, they're really bad, but they just maybe had a really good draft. Sars looked solid in the preseason. Bub Carrington has looked good in Summer League. And, you know, I don't really remember how he's done in preseason, but he should be good. You know, like, all the teams that were picking around the top have a direction. All the teams in the top who are trying to win have a direction for the most part. However, the Chicago Bulls do not have... The Chicago Bulls have nothing going their way and foresee that changing anytime soon. And we're going to talk about why. So, number one is the trades they made this summer. Alex Caruso for Josh Giddey. If you want to see a Josh Giddey fail compilation, I had a Josh Giddey video go up during last season, and I edited just all of the clips I used in that were of him bricking shots. But in terms of this season, he has looked really bad. He has stopped giving any effort on defense. He has, you know, not been a good shooter, obviously. Like, he airballed a three pretty bad. He just hasn't been any good. And that's not surprising. If you watch, you know, the playoffs, if you watch the regular season, you would know, yeah, he's not good. He's shooting 38% from the field in preseason so far. You know, they traded a guy who they could have gotten multiple first-round picks for. Like, I've heard Sacramento had an offer for 13 and like a protected future first for him on the table, which ended up becoming Devin Carter. And I know he's hurt right now, but he should be better than Josh Giddey. Like, he might end up being a Derek White type, and then you get at least a theoretical asset in the protected first. In terms of other moves that they made, it's kind of the moves that they didn't make. They didn't trade Levine. They did not trade Vucevic. They gave Patrick Williams an extension, and Patrick Williams has never been good, and he continues to, guess what, not be good. Right now, I know it's only been 2 games, but in the preseason, he's 3 of 15 from the field. That's 20%. He has not made a 3. He doesn't look great on defense. Like, he's not bad on defense, but he doesn't look great there. He's just not great at anything, and that's bad. And I think that even with the cap jumping up and 20 million not being as much, nearly as much as it used to be in the NBA, I don't see working out. I think that'll be an overpay. And Matas Buzelis, I didn't like the pick at the time. I get that he's a hometown kid. I get, you know, that there is some upside there. He had 1 good year of shooting ever, and that was his senior year of high school. Before that, in high school, he was a bad shooter, and in the G League Ignite, he was a bad shooter. So I don't understand the hype with him as a shooter, where it comes from. And so far, he has shot pretty poorly. He's 4 of 17 from the field. He shot 1 of 9 the other day, yesterday for against the Grizzlies. And then in the opener against the Cavs, he shot 3 of 8. He's had 5 and 10 points in those games respectively. He just hasn't looked the part of what you would hope he would look like, at least in like my head, when you try and think of, oh, we just spent a lottery pick on this guy and we want him to be really good. Matas is not my picture of that. I don't think he's good, again, at much. He has some shiftiness to his game, especially for his size. Can't get to the rim. It's going to be difficult, you know, for him to have a positive impact if he can't shoot, especially in lineups with Josh Giddey, with, guys that can't shoot. Like Josh Giddey and Matas Buzelis sharing the court is going to be war criminal basketball. And they just don't have a direction because Karnišovas is too scared to do bad. He's too scared to fully commit to a rebuild. But also, they can't compete, they're going to be trotting out Lonzo Ball, they're going to be trotting out Zach LaVine, they're going to be trotting out Vucevic, all of whom are decent players, I get. Well, besides Vooch, I genuinely just don't think Vooch is good anymore. But LaVine, despite being overpaid significantly, is a fine player. And Lonzo, if he comes back at 85% of the player he used to be, which I doubt, but he's a decent player. I would assume he's a good player. Kobe White is a good player. They have good talent, some good talent. Saying they have it, there are a few talented players on the Bulls. They don't have nearly enough to even make the postseason, let alone compete for a title. I don't see the point of this franchise right now. There hasn't been one since Jordan left, really. You had a couple of Derrick Rose years in there, but outside of that, haven't been good. The most success they've had somewhat recently was the Rondo, Wade, Butler Bulls. That was probably the most successful team they've had in a minute, which is sad. And that team pushed the Celtics to 6, and that was a big deal because they were an 8 seed. I just don't the plan here. And I think this is where you don't want to be if you're an NBA team, is the middle ground. It's the in-between. Because if you're in between, you're not going to be bad enough to likely get a Cooper Flagg, to get a VJ Edgecombe, an Ace Bailey, these guys who are really good, because this is supposed to be a very good draft class. I'm high on a lot of the guys in this draft class. I know a lot of people who know stuff that are high on the people in this draft class. And even 2026, if you're bad again, really good draft class. You can get one of the Boozer twins. They just are bad, but not bad enough. And they're not good enough either. They're not nearly good enough. They have Josh Giddey as their quote-unquote future all-star, which is horseshit. It's not going to happen. If he averages 20, it will be the fakest 20 piece we've seen. Faker than Lou Williams in 2018. That's a random poll. Sorry, Lou Williams. I didn't mean it. But, think of the worst 20-point per game season you can think of. Josh Giddey would be worse. And he might average 20. But that's only because the Bulls, for whatever reason, think of this guy as a future all-star. A future cornerstone piece of their franchise. And he is not that. He is a bum. He is bad. He is shit. And this is just on the court, let alone the off the court stuff, right? And also, can we talk about how they signed Josh Primo and then waived him because the internet was like, hey, what the fuck? Why are you signing this guy who, if you don't know what he did, look up Josh Primo and why he got waived from the Spurs. I can't talk about it because I don't want to get demonetized, but he did some bad stuff and should not be in the league. And you can look into it yourself. You probably know if you're watching this because only sickos watch me, really. But yeah, that's disgusting. They're signing guys and trading for guys with bad off the court stuff that don't even have good on court stuff to maybe justify the PR nightmare that comes with that, or just the moral compass stuff. There's just no redeeming qualities to them, even on the court. I just don't get it, and I feel bad for any Bulls fans. Frankly, I think you have grounds to become a fan of another team if you are a Bulls fan because of the Josh Primo stuff, mostly. And yeah, they just don't have anywhere to go. Briefly, I will say I do really like Ayo Dosunmu. I do really like Kobe White. Ayo Dosunmu I was really high on coming into the draft. I had him as a lottery prospect. I compared him to Drew Holiday. Not that I think he'll be as good as Drew Holiday. I didn't back then either. But, that archetype of player. And he's pretty damn good. He's good. And Kobe White had a great jump last season. And I hope that the Bulls still leave the ball in his hands instead of Giddey's. But damn well that's probably not going to happen. So, those are the two positives you can have for them. I guess Matas is a to be seen. I'm not writing him off entirely. He hasn't even played a regular season game yet. But I am not high on Matas going into the season. I hope he proves me wrong. But yeah, that's sort of my thoughts on the Bulls. Josh, can I even say his name without getting demonetized? Josh, the name that rhymes with Giddey that has been in the news. But yeah, I will leave you guys with that. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, all that. And give me ideas for videos you'd like to see. And if you'd like to see more of this stuff, just let me know, comment. Quick note, I have been hired back to Denver Stiffs, which is the site I wrote for between my first YouTube stint and this one. It's a blast. I think I'm a better writer than I'm a speaker, so if you want to get more in-depth analysis and that sort of thing, specifically on the Nuggets in that regard, go check it out, denverstiffs.com. Most of my stuff will be there. But anyways, yeah, see ya.